Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into this incredibly powerful and honestly haunting short story. We're going to break it down to see just how it works its magic, how it builds that huge emotional impact. And it all really hinges on a single, totally impossible moment.
So we're not actually starting this explainer at the beginning of the story. Nope, we're jumping right into its most shocking, most mysterious moment. It's a scene that just grabs you right away and makes you question absolutely everything.
And there it is. That's the heart of the whole puzzle. A moment that should be all about connection, and instead it becomes this moment of sheer impossibility. This one little physical paradox sets up everything we're about to unravel.
So that's the big question, isn't it? It's the hook that gets you. And to figure out the answer, we can't go forward. We actually have to go backward. We've got to understand the two people at the center of this impossible event.
All right, let's head back to that 7:18 a.m. PATH train. This is where their story, or maybe the potential for their story, really begins.
Now, what's so brilliant about this is how the author sets up these two separate but totally parallel worlds. They don't even know each other's names, but they've already got these really intimate, private nicknames for each other. To him, she's the Hummingbird. To her, he's the Reader. You can feel a connection is already there, forming in complete and total silence.
For months, maybe it was even a year, this was their entire relationship. It was just this series of small, unspoken moments. Same train, same time, every single day. The story calls them two silent satellites, which is just perfect, right? Orbiting each other in the kind of predictable chaos of the morning commute. It's like a beautiful, quiet foundation is being built.
And this brings us to the catalyst. That quiet understanding we just talked about, it's about to turn into a shared, unspoken plan. The story is shifting here, from just watching to actually doing.
This part is just remarkable. It shows their strange, almost psychic synchronicity. I mean, they're not just thinking the same thing, they are planning to act on it with the exact same timeline. Without saying a single word to each other, they both, on their own, decide that August 15th, that's the day everything changes. It really feels like fate, doesn't it?
And you can feel that tension building, right? You're invested, I'm invested, we're all rooting for them. We want this connection to finally happen. But that nervous energy, that anticipation, is so much more intense because we already know. From that very first moment we saw, something is about to go terribly, terribly wrong.
So, let's go back to that impossible moment on the train. Because now that we understand all the hope and all the promise that was packed into that day, we can finally face the devastating truth hiding behind it.
You can almost feel the panic in a line like that. It's not just confusion anymore. It's this frantic disbelief. They're trying to touch, trying to make the world make sense again, but it's like trying to grasp smoke. And as this horrifying new reality sets in, they start to notice that other things are wrong too.
And there it is, the gut punch. The entire twist of the story laid out on a single timeline. They believe they're living in their hopeful future, August 15th, the day they were going to connect. But their reality, it's actually rooted in a tragedy from March 15th, 2 years earlier.
And then, the memories come flooding back. It wasn't just a train delay. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a violent, tragic event. A lone gunman, a senseless act at the Journal Square station that claimed their lives, before their story ever had a chance to begin. And just like that, this horrifying memory explains everything.
So where does that leave them? Well, this final section of the story explains their new, tragic reality and, in doing so, gives us the real meaning of the story's title. The story gives a powerful name to what's happening to them, a spectral commute. And that's just a fantastic piece of writing. They're not just ghosts, you see. They're echoes. Echoes tethered to the last routine of their unfinished lives, completely trapped in an endless loop.
And this is the absolute heartbreaking core of it all. They're trapped. Every single morning, they get on that train, they see each other, they feel that same pull, but they can never, ever arrive at their destination. And even worse, they can never arrive at that connection they both wanted so badly.
And this is where the story really pushes beyond just these two characters. It leaves us with this profound and truly haunting question about all the potential that gets lost to tragedy.
What does happen to a story that is never allowed to begin? What happens to a promise that can never be kept?
And so, in a way, they did find their connection. But in the end, it was only ever a phantom connection, something that could only exist in the echoing silence of their spectral commute, a journey that will simply never, ever end.